Hi, I'm Andy Tidy and welcome to Canal Hunter. Well, today is a bit unusual in that it's the first time that Canal Hunter has gone off-piste. By that I mean I've moved away from the BCN. I've got an overnight stay here in Manchester and I thought this would be a great opportunity to explore some of the canals in this area. The canal I'm particularly interested to have a look at is the Manchester and Salford Junction Canal. It's interesting because it's nearly all underground. Its very entails are behind me here. This is the canal basin at Bridgewater, at the Bridgewater Hall, and the old canal came in down the arm at that side and out in that corner. It went through one little stop lock and then disappeared, kind of went in that direction and then cut across underneath the exhibition centre beyond. So I'm going to go and see what we can find and see what we can trace. I'll use GPS on the ground and we'll follow it down to the Irwell, see how we do. Before we start our investigation, let's return to the junction with the Rochdale Canal at Tibbs Lock. This is a reconstructed channel which was built at the same time as the Bridgewater Hall, and it was built to narrow dimensions, but of course it was originally a broad canal. Today the visible remains of the canal are just two water features, one here at Bridgewater Hall and the other one down by the River Irwell. The idea with the canal was kicked around in 1805, but it wasn't actually built until 1839, and it was built to try and provide a route through from the Manchester and Irwell Canal up to the Rochdale without paying ransom tolls to the Bridgewater in between. This short 5-furlong canal was never a financial success. Its tolls failed to cover its maintenance costs, and the presence of a stop lock holding the water 6 inches above the level of the Rochdale meant that every gallon of water needed in those big locks had to be pumped up. It continued as a through route until Central Station was built over its course in 1872. Thereafter, it was just the bottom section which remained in operation. The tunnel that I'm standing in is actually the canal tunnel. If you look down here, although the tunnel top has been replaced, the edges here are the old edges of the towpath. For the purposes of this exercise, I'm using Paul Bomber's Waterways Routes maps. And as you can see, he's showing the old abandoned canal here, located onto a modern map, and that shows that the canal has a stop lock just ahead of me. It's a 3-inch stop lock which rose up, and there was twinned locks. My guess then is there was a lock in each of these arches, because it's not clear which arch they'd follow, but I think if it was a paired canal, a canal channel went down each one. I'm walking down the right hand of the two channels. Looking back, I can see that I'm probably about, I don't know, 10 feet above the line of the canal, so actually I'm quite high up. The canal's going to be buried underneath, and as I walk down it, I'm coming straight up to a brick wall, which means I can't get any further. So I have to try and go around and pick up the trail later on. We're actually quite a lot higher here, probably, I don't know, 10-15 feet above the waterline, and that tunnel at the end. So not much expectation of finding anything high up. I've emerged from the back of Manchester Central, and just to give it some context, I'm in an area, courtyard area. I'm right by Exchange Hall. And according to my sat-nav, I am standing exactly on the site of a duplicated pair of staircase locks. Now they're going to be embedded a good 30 feet underground from here. So we've come through the open ground so far in theory, and we're now going to go down through 2 locks and start to follow the course of a 499-yard tunnel that heads towards the Irwell. So somewhere lying pretty much beneath these 2 archways. There are the staircase locks buried a good number of feet down, and the canal comes out of here, heads into the NCP beyond. How hard can it be? The tunnel was only 499 yards long. I'm already 100 yards in, so 300 yards and I'll be at the far end. Well, here at this corner we've come to a dead end. We know the canal is well down beneath us. There's some pretty old gnarly brickwork down here, lots of pipes leading down which could be drainage channels. But I'm stopped at this point, so it's a case of going around again. Around the back of the that big railway warehouse, and we knew the canal was just to the side of it, so that gap up there represents the line of the canal. And the canal was cut and cover, so it was dug out and then covered over. And according to GPS, here on Camp Street, this is the line of the tunnel. So the street itself is directly above the old canal. So all I've got to do is to walk down Camp Street, and I should find the lock as it exits into the Irwell. Probably about 200 yards ahead, I guess. Anyhow, I'll turn off and resume the commentary when I get there. So we've reached the Camp Street, end of Camp Street, and the tunnel line continues on. Straight as a die. I'm glad this is a cut and cover. At least I'm not climbing over a hill and wondering what's at the far side. Well, this has been a bit of a mega jaunt. I kind of lost the trail just to the side of Beetham Tower over there, and I've been all the way around, but there's a massive building site. But finally, around by the Marriott Hotel, I've come across this. This is the first lock up off the River Irwell, and it was continued to work in trade right up until 1922, with barges moving up to the basins underneath the Western Railway warehouse, where lifts were used to move the goods up and down. It was moved underneath the site of the old Granada studios and was finally abandoned in 1936. It's clear that this was a lock up from the river. Now, the Manchester and Salford Junction was one busy canal. Not only was it a wide lock coming off the River Irwell, it was also duplicated, so there was taking vast amounts of traffic up there. And when you look at the width of the existing lock down here, you can see how they neatly fit into those archways that we looked at further up around by Manchester Central. This is a river lock, and there were doing 2 sets of lock gates in here. You can see the heels over on that side. They would be mited to point outwards so that when the flood water came down the Irwell, it stopped the water flooding into the canal. The history of this canal is quite interesting. It was built because of the high tolls of bringing goods into Manchester. So to avoid it, they decided to build a canal off the Irwell, slightly upstream from the locks into Castlefields. And by building it, it circumvented the high tolls and would provide a cheap route into the city. Of course, the problem was, as soon as it was built, they reduced the tolls on the other route, which kind of negated the benefit of this one. So there you have it, the 1 mile Manchester and Salford Junction Canal. Not the most spectacular, but you've got a fragment in mortar by the Bridgewater Hall, you've got a couple of old archways, and you've actually got 1 lock complete down here on the Irwell. Actually, that's a pretty good tally for such an obscure little canal. So I hope you've enjoyed this bonus edition of Canal Hunter, and I will see you soon. Happy hunting.